Hello everyone, it's Glenda and welcome back to my channel, Creative Grandma. Here is the craft show favorite. These are jar openers that are made using the Con-Tact shelf liner. I seen this at a craft show and I really liked the look of them. Here's the one I purchased from the craft show. Now this one's a little bit different because it's a different shelf liner. It has a little bit larger openings than the one I'm using, but she just used a regular yarn and did a double crochet and just worked it all the way around. I chose to do mine a little bit fancier, so I'm going to show you the two I made. So these are just rubber shelf liner that you crochet around the edges, and these are for jar openers. These are to get a good grip on that jar and be able to turn and open those jars. Now she was selling hers for $1 a piece, so I didn't figure up the cost, but what you do is take the cost of a roll of this Con-Tact shelf liner. Now I'll show you the label of which one I got. It's Con-Tact and it's Grip Premium Liner. I found this on eBay because I couldn't find it at Walmart or anywhere, so I looked online. It's 12 inches by 4 feet. So you're going to get a lot of these out of one roll. I think I paid $3 or $4. It might have been $1 or $2 more. I can't remember. It's been so long since I bought it, but just a few dollars. And again, you can get quite a few of them out of this roll of liner. Now for mine, I used the Aunt Lydia's size 3 crochet thread. This is a thicker crochet thread. It's 100% mercerized cotton, and you can get it in many different colors. I used the yellow for that one, and I used the sage green for this one. Now you can get this in different colors if you're lucky enough to find it. Now I could only find this green, and I bought it because I wanted to do the video, but it's a great addition if you're one of those people who do the craft shows and you're looking for some quick and easy projects that you can sell for just $1, because sometimes those dollar items sell so fast. It really helps you bring those sales in when you're doing those craft shows. Sell something useful and at an affordable price. So to get started on this project, you're going to need one roll of the Grip Premium Liner. This is a non-adhesive, so make sure you get the non-adhesive, and it's the Con-Tact brand. And this is 12 inches by 4 foot roll. And again, I found this on eBay, so I would check. Walmart, I could not find it. Walmart had shelf liner, but the holes were way too small. You couldn't use it. So this is the best one for this project. And you can get this in different colors. And then you're going to need a small amount, I'd say about 10 yards per top here, maybe a little less, of the Aunt Lydia's Fashion crochet thread, or any size 3 crochet 100% mercerized cotton. Now I recommend using cotton because this is probably going to be used in the kitchen, and when we're working on those kitchen projects, you should probably stick with 100% cotton. So that is my recommendation. It doesn't have to be this brand. It can be any size 3 100% mercerized cotton thread. So you can pick a variety of colors. You can pick just one color and make them all the same. But if you're doing craft shows, I suggest doing different colors because it really brings some eye-catching colors to your stand and gets people's attention. So for today's video, I'm going to be using the white. You're also going to need a size D3 or a 3.25 crochet hook. So grab your shelving if you already purchased it when I did that video showing it a few weeks ago. So grab your mat. I'll show you how to cut it out. Grab your thread and get your hook, and let's get started. So first you're going to unroll your shelf liner, and then you're going to cut your mats out. Now, when you look at this side, I'm going to get up close, but first you should be able to get two one on top and then flip it over, and you should be able to get a second one on the bottom, but you have to be really careful when you're cutting. So I'm going to move this out and I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to measure it, but then I want to go over just a few things I did for this pattern. This is roughly almost 7 inches, about 6 3/4 by 6 inches high. So it's a little wider than it is up and down tall. So when you look at the pattern, you're going to cut right on the edge of the row, and you should have an open block on each of your 4 corners. And then we need to have a solid, that 4 solid block with the open mesh right here 2 rows below. So when you look at the block, you need to start with an open mesh 1, 2, and then count down 1, 2. And same on all 4 sides, and a solid block 1, 2, and then an open block 1, 2. I hope that makes sense. So when you go to the next corner, you'll see your open mesh is 1, 2 rows below, 1, 2 rows from the side, and the same at the top. 1, 2 your open mesh, and from the side 1, 2. So when you cut this out, you start with the solid block, and then you should count 23 holes across, and then you'll have a solid block. So when you're counting up and down, you should have a total of 15 holes. So with this pattern, the holes are smaller going across than they are going down. They're longer than they are wide. So you don't need as many when you're coming down the side. So when you get to the top, you're going to count down. And again, you're going to start with that solid block. Your first hole should be in the second row, and then you should have a total of 15 openings down to the bottom, and then your solid block. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. If not, kind of look at this, keep the video on, pause it while you make your cuts. So if you make a mistake, then go ahead and start, and then when you get over here, if you see that you're not ending with a space and a solid block, then trim those 2 rows off until you get to that next solid block where the opening is in the second spot from the end. So that's my best suggestion, is if you cut it wrong, then trim it when you get to the side so it's in the right position. It may be a little smaller, but that's okay. So now, since you got your mat cut out, you're going to grab whatever thread you want to use. Now I'm going to be using the white. So I'm going to take the mat. I already have my thread attached to my hook. I just used a double knot. So let me zoom up just a little bit more. So when you grab your mat, you're going to skip that top solid block, and you're going right into the open mesh that's 2 rows below. 1, 2, and from the side 1, 2. Insert your hook and then join your thread with a slip stitch. Yarn over, pull through that open mesh, and then pull through the loop on your hook. We just joined our yarn. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to go back into that same mesh. You're going to yarn over, insert back into that same open space, work a double crochet. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. You're going to bring your hook to the front of the work, take it from top to bottom down through that front loop, and slip stitch. You just made a picot stitch. Now again, with this pattern, if you really look at these openings, you can see that they're shorter going across the top and they're longer going down. So when you work across the top and the bottom of your mat, it's going to be worked differently than when we work down the sides. So let's continue. You're going to yarn over, insert into the next open mesh 2 rows below, work a double crochet. So now we're going to start our repeat. We're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the next open mesh 2 rows below, 1, 2, work 2 double crochet, 1, yarn over, insert back into that same space, work your second double crochet. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Bring your hook around to the front of the work, take it from top to bottom down through that front loop, and work a slip stitch. You just made your picot stitch. Yarn over, insert into the next open mesh stitch 2 rows below, 1, 2, work 1 double crochet. And that is the end of the repeat. So let's do it again. And again, if you need help, click back on the video to where I say this is the start of the repeat and work until I say this is the end of the repeat. So let's do it again. Yarn over the hook, insert into the next open mesh 2 rows below, 1, 2, work 2 double crochet. 1, and 2. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Take your hook and bring it back to the front. Take it from the top down through the front loop of that last double crochet made and slip stitch. You just made your picot stitch. Yarn over, insert into the next open mesh 2 rows down, 1, 2, and work a double crochet. And that is the end of the repeat. So go ahead and repeat that across until you get to this last open mesh. I'll meet you there and I'll show you how to do the corner. I'm over at the corner and you can see this is what your work should look like. And then when you get to the end, you will have 1 open space left. So if you count down 1, 2, and then from the side 1, 2, that is your last space. And this is where we're going to form our corner. For the corner, we're going to work 2 double crochet, a picot stitch, and we're going to do that 2 times in that open mesh. Yarn over, insert into that open mesh 2 rows below, work 2 double crochet, 1, and 2. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Bring your hook around to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom down through that front loop, and slip stitch. We're going to work 2 more double crochet and then a picot stitch into that same stitch. So yarn over, I'm just going to turn my work a little bit, so I'm going into the side and working down the length now. Work 2 double crochet, 1, and 2. Chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Insert your hook from top to bottom through that front loop and slip stitch. Your corner is made. So now working down the side, you'll notice that our mesh is wider. So now to work down the side of our mat, we're going to work 2 double crochet and a picot stitch in each open mesh 2 rows below. So let's begin. Yarn over, insert into the next open mesh 2 rows below, 1, 2, work 2 double crochet, 1, and 2. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Bring your hook back to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through the front loop, and work a slip stitch. your picot stitch is finished. So let me show you one more time. Again, we're going to work 2 double crochet and a picot stitch in each open mesh 2 rows below. So let's do it again. Yarn over, insert into that next open mesh 2 rows below, 1, 2, work 2 double crochet, 1, and 2. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Bring your hook around to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through that front loop, and work a slip stitch. Yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. Your picot stitch is made. So go ahead and work 2 double crochet and a picot stitch into the open mesh 2 rows below down to the next corner. Stop when you get to that last open mesh 2 rows below. I'll meet you there and show you how to do the corner. I worked down my length. This is what it looks like when you work down the length. So far, this is what it looks like. Let me zoom out. You worked across the top, you worked down the sides, and now we're over at our next corner. So to work our corner, we're going to work 2 double crochet, a picot stitch, and then turn and work 2 more double crochet and a picot stitch on the side. So let's go ahead and begin. You're going to yarn over, insert into that next open mesh space 2 rows below, 1, 2, which is the last space, work 2 double crochet, 1, and 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, bring your hook around to the front of the work, insert top to bottom through that front loop, work a slip stitch. You're just going to turn your mat a little bit, and then you're going to work on the side of the mat. You're going to yarn over, insert into that same open space, work 2 more double crochet, 1, and 2. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, insert your hook, come around to the front and insert from top to bottom through that front loop of the last stitch made, and slip stitch. Your picot stitch is made and your corner is finished. So now we're going to start and work the other pattern. We're going to work 1 double crochet into the next open mesh space 2 rows below, yarn over, insert into that next open space, work 1 double crochet. Now we're going to start the repeat. We're going to work 2 double crochet and a picot stitch into the next open space and 1 double crochet into the next open space. So let's begin. Yarn over, insert into the next open space 2 rows below, 1, 2. You're going to work 2 double crochet, 1, 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, bring your hook around to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through that front loop of the last stitch worked, and slip stitch. Your picot stitch is made. You're going to yarn over, insert into the next open mesh space 2 rows below, and work 1 double crochet. And that is the end of the repeat. Now, because this is the same as the opposite side, I'm not going to keep showing you over and over again. You're going to go ahead and repeat 2 double crochet and a picot stitch into this next open space 2 rows below, and then just 1 double crochet into the next open space. You're going to repeat that down until you get to that last open mesh space here. Stop, and I'll be back and show you how to do your corner. I'm over at my next corner. Here I am up here on the 3rd corner. This is what it should look like so far. Just a nice little edging on that jar opener. So let me zoom back up. We'll do the corner and then do our 4th remaining side. we're going to do this corner the same way we did the other corners. We're going to work 2 double crochet, a picot stitch, and we're going to do that 2 times into this ending space here. Yarn over, insert into that open mesh 2 rows below, work your 2 double crochet, 1, 2, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Bring your hook around to the front, top to bottom down through that front loop, and slip stitch. Your picot stitch is made. So then just turn your mat a little bit, and then you want to work your next 2 double crochet on the side of your work, working over top the side. So yarn over, insert into that same open mesh space, work 2 more double crochet, 1, and 2. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Bring your hook around to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through the front loop of that last double crochet stitch worked, and slip stitch. Your corner is made. So now we're going to work down the length, and you can see again those openings are wider. So when you look at your work, we're going to be doing 2 double crochet and a picot stitch in each one of those open mesh spaces 2 rows below. So if you cut it like I did, like right here's a little bit of that extra row, you do not count that. You're going to count 1, 2, and you're going to go into the space that has that solid full square above it. So yarn over, insert into that next space 2 rows below, 1, 2, work 2 double crochet, 1, and 2. Chain 3. Bring your hook back around to the front of the work, insert from top to bottom through that front loop of the last stitch worked, and slip stitch. And that's all there is to working down the length. So now you're going to go ahead and work 2 double crochet and a picot stitch in each open mesh space 2 rows below. So make sure that if you have a partial row up here, that you're actually going down to that second row. Make sure that there's a solid square and then the open mesh, or follow it right across from the last stitch worked. You can do it that way as well. So go ahead and work that across, 2 double crochet and a picot stitch in each one of those open mesh spaces across until you get to this corner, and I'll meet you there. I'm over to the end of our mat. I worked my 2 double crochet picot stitch in each open mesh stitch across, and now we're going to finish by working 2 double crochet and a picot stitch into the same space as that first beginning chain 3. So let's begin. Yarn over, insert into that same open mesh that you worked your beginning stitches, work 2 double crochet, 1, and 2. You're going to chain 3, bring your hook back down, and you're going into the front loop top to bottom with your hook. Just insert from top to bottom in the front loop of that last double crochet worked, and slip stitch. And now we're going to go up to the top of that beginning chain 3. So you're just going to count up 1, 2, 3, insert your hook, and slip stitch. Your mat is finished. So let me fasten off. So this is what our jar openers look like. It's just a nice little rubber mat that has that nice crochet edging. And they're also wonderful for the craft shows because you can get this rubber contact matting in several different colors. You can get this thread in many different colors. And can you picture your craft stand having many different colors of these mats with beautiful colored trim on them? Just a nice eye-catching appeal when people are looking at your craft stand. I hope you enjoyed today's crochet tutorial for the jar opener mat. Make sure you hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss all the crochet fun. Happy crocheting, everyone!